They are. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ted Rowland's testimony in the cheating wife murder trial this morning has been focusing on cell phone data. We all know how important that could be. The defendant, Nikki Entzel, accused of conspiring to kill her husband, then trying to cover it up by setting the house on fire. Prosecutors claim that Entzel did not act alone. Her boyfriend, Earl Howard, was there. He's already pled guilty. The big question this morning is Earl going to come into the courtroom and testify for the prosecution as they wrap up their case? There was a little bit of a break there while they worked out some technical issues, but let's get you back into court. The state just called. The next witness, Michell Mundy, is on the stand, a friend of the defendant.
Probably 3 or 4 times.
What did you think of him?
Thought he was nice. I mean, just, you know, didn't really spend a lot of time with him, but...
Why not?
I guess I was usually with Nikki, and we were doing things, and I don't know, I just didn't... I don't really have a straight answer for that.
Okay. So when you would get together with Nikki and hang out or shop or whatever you would do, would that be in Bismarck or Dickinson?
Bismarck.
Did she ever come out to visit you in Dickinson?
Yes.
How often would you see Nikki after she was married to Chad?
Probably probably once a month, maybe, if that.
Did you move from Aberdeen to Dickinson, or did you have stops in between?
No, I moved from Aberdeen to Dickinson.
And when did that happen?
Oh, boy. Probably 10 years ago, maybe.
So you saw her probably about once a month for the last how long?
Probably the last 5 years, maybe.
Did you see her more often before that?
No, because she was busy, and I had a job, and I was busy with that.
And you said out of the times that you saw Nikki over that time, you only saw Chad about 3 or 4 times?
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be a yes or no, so it's clear.
Oh, yes, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. That's okay.
And when you saw them, did you see them together?
Yes.
Did you ever notice any problems between the two of them?
No.
On the occasions that you did socialize with Chad, was he drinking?
Yes, a couple of times.
Was he intoxicated?
No.
Did you ever see a change in his mood or behavior after he'd been drinking?
No.
Did Nikki ever tell you about any problems she was having with Chad?
Yes.
Do you recall when she first told you that problems arose in their marriage?
Probably a year ago, before everything happened.
Okay, you said a year ago. That would have been 2021, or are you talking a year before Chad died?
A year before Chad died.
Okay, so probably around 2018?
Probably, well, no, I would say 2019 maybe.
What kind of issues did she say they were having?
Arguments at first. And then she was telling me about the drunk games, or the drinking game. And I seen pictures that she had bruises on her.
Did she explain to you what the drinking games were?
Yes.
What did she say they were?
They were, he would be drinking and he would ask her to do something. If not, she would be punished, either verbally or hit.
When did she say that, or when did she first tell you about these drinking games?
Terrible with dates. Probably 6 months before.
Before Chad died?
Yes.
You said she would show you pictures of bruises.
Yes.
Was there anything on the pictures that you could tell who the person was in the pictures?
No.
So what would the pictures be of?
I seen some, if I remember correctly, on her leg where she said that she'd fallen because Chad had pushed her. I'd seen pictures of bruises on her arms. And she sent me one of a black eye.
And how would she send you these pictures?
Text messages.
Was it a straight text message through the texting app on the phone, or was it through like a Facebook Messenger or Instagram or something like that?
Sometimes a straight text, and I think sometimes through Facebook Messenger. We texted both ways.
Did you know Nikki's body well enough to be able to tell if the arm was hers or the leg was hers?
No, I guess not. I mean,
I know she's got some tattoos.
correct.
So did any of the pictures have any of those tattoos on them?
Not that I can remember, no.
So nothing that you would be able to say definitively that that was her arm other than her saying that?
Correct.
Or her leg other than her saying that?
Correct.
Now you said she sent you a picture of a black eye, so obviously her face was in that picture,
Yes.
correct? And you could tell that was her.
Yes.
Did she say how she got that black eye?
Chad hit her.
Do you remember when she sent that photo?
November, December of 2019, I believe.
Now you said the photo of the bruise on the leg, she said she fell because Chad had pushed her.
Something like that, I believe. Yes.
Did she send you any other pictures of bruised legs? Or was it just one?
I don't remember.
Do you recall where on the leg the bruise was?
I think it was up on the upper part of the leg.
So it looked like you were motioning towards the thigh area, so
Yes.
between the knee and the hip?
Yeah.
And do you recall what portion of that leg, whether it was the inner, the top,
The
outer,
top.
or the bottom?
The top.
Now you said you got a picture of, how many pictures of bruised arms did you receive?
One that I remember. I mean, I think just one.
Do you recall where the bruise was on that arm?
I think the upper part, shoulder area.
And did Nikki tell you how she got the bruise on that arm?
She probably did, but I don't remember. It's been a while ago.
Do you recall if she was attributing that to abuse from Chad?
I think she said something that Chad had pushed her, something to that effect.
So the picture, did you only get one picture of her with a black eye?
I think so, yes.
And which eye do you recall? If you
I don't
recall,
remember.
was
I'm
bruised.
sorry.
Could you tell from the picture that it was a black eye, or did she have it covered up with makeup?
It was covered up a little bit with makeup. You
Could
can
you-
still see the undertones of the purple, though,
Okay.
I remember.
And did she say how she got the black eye? She said Chad hit her, correct?
Correct, yes.
Sorry about that. Did she say when that had happened?
I
Or
don't
what-
remember. I really don't.
So you don't remember if she gave you any circumstances
No.
as to how that had
No.
occurred? Did she ever tell you that she bruised easy?
I just assumed that she did with, her medical conditions.
What kind of medical conditions does she have?
She told me she had MS and she had cancer. She was going through some other treatments, and I guess I never really, her medical part was her business if she wanted to share that with me, but she did some, and I knew that some of the meds were probably gonna make a person bruise easy.
So when she would send you these pictures of bruised arms or legs or her black eye, did you offer her any advice as to what she should be doing?
I told her she should leave. And yeah, that's, you know, if you're getting hurt, leave.
Do you recall if you expressed that each time she sent you something?
I think so.
Did she ever tell you if she had a plan for leaving Chad?
Towards the end, she did, yeah.
And
Probably.
towards the end would be when? About?
Like December.
So December 2019?
Yes.
And what was her plan?
She was going to divorce Chad and move to Texas
Was she going to move with anyone?
with Earl.
Who's Earl?
That was the man that she was seeing.
Had you ever met Earl?
I met him twice, I believe.
Do you recall Earl's last name?
No.
Do you know if he went by any other name?
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it right at the moment.
Did she ever refer to him as Roy?
Yes.
Do you know why she would refer to him as Roy?
No.
Had you ever visited Nikki's home with Chad?
Yes.
How many different places of theirs that they lived at that you visited?
One.
Do you recall which home that was, where it was located?
The place that they were living at before they moved. I don't know Bismarck, so I don't know. I can't tell you where the address is, but I could probably. It was in a cul-de-sac.
Do you recall if it was East Side? What the street name was?
No.
Okay. So, but you believe it was the home they moved in, or that they were living in before they moved into the one on North 43rd where the fire occurred?
Yes.
And did you spend the night there, or were you just visiting?
I was just visiting.
Did you see a lot of alcohol bottles while you were there?
No, but they were having a get-together, so there was people.
What was the occasion?
I know there was no. I don't know the occasion, but there was other people coming over, and some of them were there, and.
Now, you had indicated that you and Nikki would message a
Yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
And how frequently would you be in touch with her via text or phone?
Probably every other day.
All right, as they look over that, those documents, let's get a break in here. We'll get more from Michell Mundy, the friend of the defendant, on the stand for the prosecution. Back after this. Love triangle with a tragic ending.
Nikki Entzel is accused of killing her husband.
Her boyfriend pled guilty for his part.
Now she's facing a jury and life in prison if convicted.
The cheating wife murder trial today on Court TV.
How often do you hear of a mom being shot by a killer dressed as a clown?
She killed my daughter and he marries her.
Unbelievable. A clown at the door. Sunday night, 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
Testimony is underway this morning in the trial for Nikki Entzel in North Dakota. She is accused of plotting to kill her husband, Chad. The prosecution claims that Nikki and her lover, Earl Howard, conspired to kill Chad and then tried to cover it up by setting the house on fire. The jury is hearing testimony this morning from a friend of the defendant. Her name is Michell Mundy. The defense right now is looking over some photographs in the courtroom, some evidence that as soon as they're done doing that, they'll start the questioning up again with this witness, still with us, trial attorney Vonda Sargent. And Vonda, some photos, as we see the defense there, they're going over the stack of photos, presumably these photos that were just talked about of Nikki apparently sending her friend shots of her arms and legs and a black eye, building this case that Chad was an abuser. What do you take away from, first of all, the prosecution calling her and effectively kind of fighting Nikki's case or telling Nikki's story on some level, but doing it on their own terms?
I think it's a very good tactic. If you have any bad facts, you want to be the first one to have them out before the jury. So I think that was a very, very good tactic on their part. I think she needs to be very careful. The prosecution needs to be very careful with trying to have this angle that all of those photos were fake, that there's somebody else's arm or there's somebody else's leg, because you might have that witness pushing back, because people generally don't like to admit that they've been fooled or that they've been made a fool out of. And so I think she has to walk that very fine line. And this witness said unequivocally, it was a black eye, there was makeup, but I could see the purple bruising under it. So I think that the state has to be pretty careful with this witness. I mean, the witness isn't, being effusive with her love and concern of Nikki, but she certainly was very clear that at least with that black eye, she saw the black eye. I thought it was odd that the state's position was that the rest of the photos were somehow fake photographs. And I know that comes from the first investigator that said it looked like a generic arm and he didn't see any bruising. But I think that's a fine line that you really have to walk when you're dealing with the witness, particularly a friend of the defendant. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does with those pictures.
Yeah. All right, let's listen in. The witness now has the photos in front of her.
Familiarize yourself with it.
All right, judging on the speed at which she's going through the photos, this may take a little bit of time. Picking up, Vonda. Yeah, you would think that if they knew that these were fake, they would have something to back it up, where there was a download of a stock photo of a bruised arm or something that they have in their arsenal, which they may have. Right. But if they don't, that can be pretty risky.
It can be, but if they do have that and they bring this woman on the stand and then have someone come back behind her, it's going to be devastating to the defense. But I think if they did, they would already have called that witness up and would not have called her at all, because, she talked about Chad and their relationship and, just things that we just didn't need to hear. So I don't think they have that information. I think they're going to rely on this witness and try to cross her or try to get her to admit that, in fact, those aren't really what she thinks they are.
All right, let's listen in.
Do those photographs, the contents of those photographs, look familiar to you?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to doubt their authenticity, or do you believe that any of those have been altered?
No, they have not been altered.
Okay. And do those constitute a true and accurate copy of messages between you and Ms. Entzel?
Yes.
I would offer 280, Your Honor.
No objection. So that 280 is received?
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
You may.
Okay, looking at the first picture on the first page, which would be on the left side, what's the date on that first picture indicating when the messages were sent and received?
December 9th? Or December 10th, I'm sorry.
It's kind of small, but
it is, I'm sorry.
So December 9th or 10th?
10th.
Okay. Do you recall what year that would have been in?
No, I'm not.
When is the last time that you spoke with Ms. Entzel via text?
Trying to think, Monday before she was arrested, I do believe. Monday or Tuesday beforehand.
So that would have been in 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
So in these messages, is that how you were informed that Ms. Entzel had moved to a new residence?
Yes.
Okay, and looking at page 2, you had asked her if it was just her and the boys, or what Could you explain why you asked that?
On page 2, I don't see where
Oh,
you're...
I'm sorry, not page 2. I apologize. I moved to the second one, so for me it was number 2.
Okay, I'm
It would
sorry.
be the second picture on the first
Okay.
page on the right side. I apologize for that.
I guess I probably just assumed that the boys were there because it was the holiday season.
Was there any discussion at that time about Nikki leaving Chad?
I don't recall.
She responds with, "I wish he is with." Do you recall what that meant?
No, I don't.
She's also talking about later on about the fourth response in from that message about, wow, just you and the boys. Or she says, last Thursday he comes home. I should have took pics. The claw marks he had on his neck 2 days they stayed. Do you know what she was referring to?
If I remember correctly, him being with another woman.
Who's the him?
Chad.
Had she told you that she thought Chad was having an affair?
I believe so. It's...
Later down, the blue message says, we are in different rooms now. Did she indicate to you that they had, even though living in the same home, had separated that way and she was staying in a different room?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Do you recall?
I object to the, who's testifying here, the state or the witness? Sustained,
I'll
rephrase.
rephrase the questions, Your Honor. Do you recall if she had told you anything about staying in separate rooms?
Just from the text.
Now we're moving on to page 2, and this would be the picture on the left side. Could you explain to us what the message about, I heard some chick at bowling alley. Do you remember what that was in context to?
Probably that's who she thought he was seeing.
Now, moving on to the picture on the right of page 2, she indicates about halfway down that Roy might come in person. Do you know who she was referring to by Roy?
Earl.
Okay, and that would be, did you know their relationship at the time? When she
Nikki's-
sent this message?
Yes, I knew.
Okay. You said you had met Earl in person, or you had met him twice. Were both of those times in person?
Yes.
Where did that occur at?
I remember one time he was over at he was in Dickinson with Nikki, and Nikki brought him over so my husband and I could meet him.
Do you remember when that was?
Towards the end of December.
All right, we need to slip in a break here. Some compelling testimony. Now, the first we've heard of some chick at the bowling alley trying to implicate that Chad was also possibly having an affair. See what happens next. Stay with us.
Sell-off buildings.
Welcome back. Testimony underway this morning in Bismarck, North Dakota for the cheating wife murder trial. The defendant, Nikki Entzel, faces life in prison if convicted of conspiring to kill her husband, Chad, to collect his insurance policy. Prosecutors say that Entzel and her boyfriend, Earl Howard, plotted this together. He pled guilty to 4 charges, including conspiracy to commit murder back in October. On the stand right now is the defendant's friend. Her name is Michell Mundy. Let's get you back into court right where we left off.
Okay. So if we go to, it would be the picture on the left on page 17. Nikki had sent you a picture of her face, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall why she sent you a picture of her face?
Because she was gonna, if I remember correctly, I think she was gonna come over, but she wanted to inform me of the eye before I seen her.
What about the eye?
That it was black and blue.
So So this is the picture that you were testifying to earlier when you said she sent you a picture of
Yes.
her black eyes, but she had makeup and it was covered up,
Yes.
and you could see the purple. Which eye is it that's bruised?
Well, the right eye. Sorry, I had to.
And did she send you any other picture of her black eye without makeup?
Not that I remember, no.
Now she had you had said that earlier she had talked to you about a plan she had for leaving Chad, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if I can direct your attention to Exhibit 280, page 14, and the text messages starting on the right side of that page.
Okay.
She talks about you coming to visit her in Texas and going to Texas. Do you know what that was all about?
That's when her and Roy were going to move there.
Now on the next page, so it'd be page 15, the picture on the left side. Is that when she detailed her plan to you?
I don't have.
Oh, I'm sorry, page 15.
Okay, yeah, there's
I may
no
have said
picture.
29. No, not a picture.
Oh, okay.
But it's text messages. I said, is that when she detailed her plan as to how she was going to leave?
Yeah. Yes.
And what did that consist of?
Serving Chad with papers.
You asked about a restraining order. Why did you ask about a restraining order?
Just from what the abuse. I didn't want her to get hurt anymore. So that's probably why I asked about a restraining order.
Okay. At the bottom, she indicates the message says, and now that it's documented by my DR the marks. Do you know what that was referring to?
She'd gone to the doctor and they had seen her bruises and it was documented through the doctor.
Did she tell you if she reported to the doctor that Chad had abused her?
I believe so.
Now, still on page 15, the message is to the right.
Okay.
What else was part of that plan?
As far as, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking.
Her plan to leave Chad.
That Roy had people watching for her? Is that what you're in reference?
Was that part of the plan, that
Yeah.
Roy would have people watching?
Yes.
To make sure she'd be okay?
Yes.
There's also talk about charges being pressed. Do you recall why you asked about that?
The abuse.
And what was her response?
I'm looking here. Pretty much that Roy's got people looking out for her and 10 different ones. I'm assuming that's charges. And they carry a federal prison time.
If you go to the first picture on the left on page 16, she indicates she'll talk to you about it face to face, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any?
I just need yes or no.
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
Did you have any face to face meetings with her after these messages were sent?
I believe. Let me look at the date here. She came over and we talked about things, about what she was talking. Yeah, we did. We talked face to face.
And do you recall when that was?
towards the end of December.
Was that the same time that you had met Earl?
Yes.
And what did she tell you?
That Chad had been gambling and had put her up as, I don't know what you'd call it, more or less. She was the money for the gambling, and that there was people after her because Chad had lost the bet, and the winner was going to get Nikki. So that's what the charges were about.
And when and where did that supposedly take place?
Nikki just told me that. That's why Roy had people watching her all the time also.
Now, when you met with Nikki and Roy at the end of December, was there anything else that you guys did? What did you do?
We just sat at our house and talked.
Did she indicate to you that she had started to implement her plan to leave Chad?
I remember through the text messages, and I believe she talked about it then, but I can't give you a 100% answer on that.
Did she tell you she was starting to move things out of the house?
She brought over a couple dresses to the house. She said, I got these out of the house. Can I keep them at your place? So there was maybe 3-4 dresses that she brought over and a suit that was brought over. And we just hung them up down in one of the bedrooms downstairs.
Was there any other property that she asked you to safeguard for her?
Her grandmother's veil.
Now, in the messages, she refers to somebody as Big Kid. Do you know who she's referring to by that?
Chad.
Do you know why she called him the Big Kid?
He would see things out in the backyard and go just kind of have a meltdown about them.
So she told you he kind of threw temper tantrums?
Well, kind of, yeah, you could describe, yeah.
She also refers to somebody in the messages as Fatty. Do you know who she's referring to there?
Her brother.
Was that a nickname that he had that was widely known, or just something she called him?
I don't know how we got that name, to be real honest.
Now, you said you've known her for quite some time, correct?
Off and on, yeah.
Okay. And did you know that she has children?
Yes.
What kind of children does she have, boys or girls?
2 boys.
In her text messages, she refers to gaining a daughter. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Who was she referring to?
That would have been Roy's daughter.
So as far as you know, she doesn't have her own daughter. It would be Roy's daughter?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you ever give her other suggestions for dealing with Chad's alcoholism or abuse?
I don't believe so.
Did you ever tell her to talk to his family about it?
I don't recall that I did, no.
Do you recall seeing her again after the fire?
Yes.
When would that have been?
Okay, let me think. It was, she came and spent the night Saturday before the fire, before she was arrested.
Do you recall what date that was?
I don't recall the date, no. I know it was the Saturday before she was arrested. She spent the night at our house. And then she went out to get the boys on Sunday. And
did she talk to you about the fire?
She did.
And Chad's death?
Yes.
What did she tell you about Chad's death?
That there was, she'd gotten a call, or she'd went out to the house that was on fire. She, called the police and the fire department and whatnot. She couldn't get in because it was hot or smoky. And then she said they wouldn't even let her see Chad when they brought him out, and I asked her why. Something to the effect of he was crispy. And, that was pretty much she elaborated more on it, but that was...
Did she tell you how Chad had died?
No, I did not know.
Or how the fire started?
No.
When she came out on that Saturday, was she with anyone that time?
No, I think it was just her. Yeah, it was just her.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
The defendant's friend on the stand here. Let's see what cross-examination takes place right after this. Stay with us. This morning, we've been watching testimony in the cheating wife murder trial. After the weekend break, 41-year-old Nikki Entzel faces 4 charges, which include conspiracy to commit murder for the death of her husband, Chad, back in the year 2020. Prosecutors allege that the defendant and her boyfriend, Earl Howard, decided to kill Chad and stage it as a suicide so they could collect his insurance money. Howard has already pled guilty to charges in connection to Chad's death. Let's go back into court now for the cross-examination of the defendant, Nikki's friend, Michell Mundy.
Thank you, Honor. So it did appear to you that Nikki had been preparing to move out of that house?
Yes.
Okay. And how long did you know that she had indicated she was going to be moving out of that house?
Probably a couple months. I don't remember the exact time.
She indicated, did she tell you when she stored those belongings at your house that her intention was to get a job and move to Texas?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
I have nothing further. We request this witness be excused.
Object.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony.